Welcome back to AV Veterans Talk, where we're continuing to look back on our conversation with this week's guest, Harry Selling.
AV Veterans Talk on the line stuff here. We have Harry Selling, B-17 combat pilot from World War II. Harry, you still out there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Gosh, you're a great guest. And, you're 92 years young, man, and I swear to God, by listening to you and stuff, you're not a day over 80, okay?
Thank you.
All right, no problem. So anyway, mission number 7 starts out as just, once again, another, here we are. We're off we go. And what was your target for the day?
Well, let me back up a little bit.
Okay, go ahead.
This particular day, we were going to have a fighter bee, and we'd been losing about 60 planes a day.
Okay.
And we were really pissed off. Pardon me, we were mad.
That's all right. Uh-huh. Gotcha.
And so they were going to tell the Germans where we would be, time and place.
Okay.
So we went by way of Berlin. The target was an oil facility in south of Frankfurt.
Okay, gotcha.
And on this particular day, I was just in tight formation, and my navigator said, "Harry, look over here to the left." And I did, and we were on a collision course with another group. So we were going to shuffle the deck because our leader turned without looking.
Okay.
And so I dumped the controls. I was in tail end Charlie, Purple Heart corner.
Okay.
So I dumped the controls, and this guy went across my above me without incident. And just then, the upper turret gun was firing, and I turned to look to see what he was firing at, and it was a 190.
Okay.
A Falk-Wolf 190.
Gotcha.
And he was pumping 20-millimeter shells into the instrument panel. It didn't hit me, but suddenly the controls for the tail were ripped off, and I went into a vertical climb, followed by a hammerhead stall.
Oh, boy. Okay.
And then the fire broke out in the cockpit, and my co-pilot had gotten up to go down through the hatch, and he was just melted there.
Oh, boy.
And I just said to myself, I guess there's no way out.
Right.
And so I became unconscious, and when I awakened, I was in a free fall in just some trash. The plane had completely come apart, and I was sitting up on the instrument panel.
Okay.
And I tried to kick open the window, but I couldn't get it to budge. And I looked to my right, and darn it, the plane was gone. It was just like a sausage that cut there behind the upper turret.
Okay.
So I just rolled out and pulled the cord, and I lit in a tree without injury. My face got burnt.
Right.
But I was no ankles, no wreck, no legs, everything.
Okay.
So I just shimmied down and just started going north I thought maybe I'd try and get to Sweden.
Okay.
And I did that just kept walking for about 2 hours.
Okay.
And then finally some boys, 10 and 11, 12 kids, saw me, and they took me. They kept saying something about a cellar.
Okay.
And I thought, well, maybe they'd help me.
Right.
They took me into a village, and it was just like a Hansel and Gretel village. Okay. And I sat down because I was so exhausted. And pretty soon the townspeople came around, and they just got uglier and uglier until pretty soon they started kicking me.
Right, okay.
And I thought to myself, I guess this is it, because there's no way to defend yourself.
Right.
And then pretty soon an old man with a gun fired it, and he threatened them, and they left me alone, and he took me away.
Okay.
And he took me to a Luftwaffe base. And on the way, he told me about his son on the Western Front and one on the Eastern. And he kept saying, "For you, the war is over." And he was so joyous.
Yes.
And we had simpatico.
Okay.
And when we parted, we embraced. And he said, "All the best for you."
Oh, wow.
And it was just the most tender, wonderful experience of two people on on a different side.
Right.
But having compassion to not kill me.
Oh, man, wow.
And save me from these people.
Yes.
And that started my internment.
Right. Now,
being an officer, they send you to an officer's camp.
Right.
Which is Stalag Luft 1.
Right. Backing up just a little bit, tragically, you're the only survivor of your whole crew.
Yes.
And were they lost when the plane came apart? You just really don't have any way to tell.
I think the first thing that happened, anytime you're in a vertical climb, everybody that's not strapped in becomes at risk.
Yeah, projectile.
And And then, of course, some of them might have gotten shot with just the shells.
Right. So.
But I'm the sole survivor.
Right. And does that still haunt you today, or have you moved on past that?
I've moved on.
Yeah.
I've moved on.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I realize that you formed up with those guys and they were your friends, and
well, they become relations.
Yeah, absolutely. And you, after the war, did you ever talk to any of the families of?
I did see Bob Markham's, the navigator's sister.
Okay.
She came out to visit with me.
Yeah.
But the rest of them, I wrote to each one of them about each person.
Right.
But and some of them answered it, but from then on there was never any follow-up.
Wow. So you became a guest of the Germans in Stalag Luft 1. That was September, I think you said 7th of 44 or something close to that.
It was the 12th. The day was shot down was the 12th.
12th.
And I got to Stalag 1 probably on the 16th.
Okay. So as you got there, of course, then you were back amongst friends, I would say, because, you had other American officers there, pilots.
Well, there were 21 of us in each room.
Okay, 21.
And there were 10,000 in the camp.
10,000. That just boggles my mind. You have 10,000.
And everyone has a story how he got there.
Yeah, absolutely. And you could just imagine the chaos in the country just having to deal with the amount of having to take care of all you guys.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The logistics.
Yeah.
And we had Red Cross parcels until probably March.
Okay.
So we were without the supplement. But
yeah.
I got down to 115 pounds.
Yeah, I can absolutely see that. And you basically, the outfit that you wore that day when you went to combat, they didn't put you in prison garb, right? You just wore what you had, right?
Well, you wear a flight suit.
That's what I mean. That's what you had pretty much.
I had an electric flight suit.
Okay.
Because you can't survive up there without being warm.
Right. So was that your apparel for? You were there till the end of the war, in 45. I mean, what did you wear in those camps for that long a time?
When they send you to Wetzlar is where we get our joy kits. They give you a uniform.
Oh, they do. Okay.
They give you a overcoat, which is Polish.
Okay.
And it's a great coat, so you can put it on your bed.
Right. And utilize it as something to sleep on. So, okay, and you know what? Friendships that came out of that kind of insanity. The 21 guys you spent time with, you came pretty close, I would imagine.
Yes, I still have one, Bullard. He lives in Texas.
Texas, there. So he's still around. And you were telling me that so you were there for quite a long time, and I'm humbled by the time that you spent there and what your life looked like every day for well over a year, correct?
No, 9 months.
9 months there. And so the day came for liberation, and you said the Russians were the one that liberated you guys.
They came with tanks and horses.
Right. And
some guys were on horses.
Horses and stuff. So you thought, what, are we back to World War I here? What's going on?
Exactly. It seems so primitive to me.
Yeah. And then it was actually kind of chaotic, right, you said?
It was. A lot of guys just took off.
Right.
But I figured I wasn't going anywhere.
Right. And
but they took the fences down with the tanks.
Okay.
Which was kind of fun.
Okay. Yeah, and then you said you actually guys went and got cows and stuff for food.
Well, they actually the Russians brought in 140 head of cattle.
Right.
And we tried to eat it, but it all came up.
Yeah, exactly, because you'd been so abused
yes.
nutrition-wise. So you came back, and so your mother knew that you were a prisoner of war, correct? She got probably a telegram.
She found out after about 5 months. She received a postcard from someone in Newfoundland.
Right, that you had been...
And that she'd picked... She had... This guy had listened to a radio station where they were announcing the prisoners.
Right.
And so then he sent the postcard, said that he had heard that I was safe.
Yeah. So when they repatriated you back to the United States, and obviously your mother was just tickled pink to see that you were going to come home and things like that. What was that reunion like?
Completely joyous. It was just, I was born again.
Yes, absolutely. I could imagine. It's like, and you know what? You're one of those guys that doesn't take your freedom for granted here in this great country, is it?
No, sir, I do not.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's paid for.
Yes, it is, and that's what, like I said, every week on this radio show, we make sure that the stories of like yours and everything is why, we need to buck up and we need to get to work, and because you guys have done just great things for us. Anything you want to share, kind of a message you want to get out there to anybody? We got a broad expanse out here, lots of people, aerospace and things like that. Something you'd like to share with the people here, just off your top of your head?
One thing, we were on a train, and we detrained into to the Frankfurt train station because it all bombed out.
Right.
And they needed to put us on a train on the other side of the station.
Okay.
But we could not drive through it because of the chaos.
Right.
So we got off, and we were guarded with dogs and guns. Mm-hmm. And we got into the main part of the station, and there was a gal serving potato soup, a German Red Cross. Uh-huh. And she came over to me, and she said, "Would you care for a bowl of soup?" Yes. And I said, yes. And I wolfed it down. I hadn't eaten for a day or two.
Right.
And she said to me, "Would you like another?"
Yeah. Wow.
And the kindness just got to me. I started crying.
Okay.
And she took me in her arms, and she just comforted me. And it was just a moment where I was embraced by an angel.
Yes.
And here's this German lady comforting this American terror flieger. And it was just right heaven sent.
Wow. You know what?
It was...
You're going to have me in tears here in a minute. And everybody knows I tear up pretty easy. But you know what? I'm glad that you got to see the good side of humanity in a sea of insanity.
Well, particularly in that other man that saved my life. Yeah, we embraced when we parted.
Yeah,
it's just here you have two Germans that are befriending the enemy, and it was just so beautiful.
Yes.
But the most wonderful thing is with the Marshall Plan. We forgave and forgot.
Absolutely, and we helped rebuild.
Without the Marshall Plan, we'd be back fighting each other again.
Absolutely, and that's once again the kindness and the greatness of the United States that some people don't understand. That we can stand over a beaten enemy and taunt them and beat them down and stuff, but what we do is we give a hand out to pull them back up again so they can stand on their own 2 feet. Right.
Yeah.
So, well, Harry, you know what? I got to kind of wrap this up here. We're down to our last minute here, and you know what? You are such a great guest and a deal and stuff. Can I have you back in the future? We'll continue on to some other stuff.
Anytime.
Oh man, I am so happy to have you on there, and thank you once again. And you take care. And I'm going to come down. I want to meet you. I want to press flesh with you and shake your hand, buddy. Okay?
We'll do it.
All right, sir. Well, thank you so much, and we'll talk to you later. All right. Bye-bye. Well, guys, I can't really say anything more. I mean, what a great guy, and we're blessed.
I'm Bob Alvis, and thanks for joining us for this week's segment of AV Veterans Talk.